Hi, Rob Green here from the GRM Group. I felt compelled to do a quick video on the back of the Legal Practice Council's announcement about minimum wages for candidate attorneys, or CLPs, however you refer to that level of lawyer. I saw their statement, and I saw what they released, and then I saw on LinkedIn quite a lot of comments, and Twitter as well, actually. A lot of very interesting points of view, shall we say, but mainly I saw a lot of current candidate attorneys making comments on social media, people who have been candidate attorneys relatively recently, and I think it's fair to say that their comments largely about the potential minimum wage were fairly one-sided. I happen to agree with their points about increasing the wage in the rural and urban areas for candidate attorneys. South Africa is getting more and more expensive. It used to be a relatively cheap place to live, but now it's not. I think we can all feel that pain. But it really got me thinking about the other side of the coin. And I haven't seen anybody commenting from the law firm side of things. Lots of people taking stats from the Law Society and quoting how many law firms there are and how they can all afford it and this kind of thing. And I also saw one recruiter breaking down how much more they could charge a client just to cover the increased cost and things like that. But I think it shows it shows a bit of naivety on their part, because there is another side of the coin, and the other side of the coin is the law firm owners. Those of you who are listening here who own a one-person shop, 2 people, 3 people, up to maybe 5 or 6 people. You know, I'm a small business owner myself. I have been for 20 years. I know the pain. I know cash flow issues. I know cash flow projection issues. I know chasing clients for money, to get paid, to be able to pay the bills. As one of those books over there says from Simon Sinek, leaders eat last. You know, it's always the leader of the firm that has to eat last when there's no money. So I think it's important that we bring up the other side of this. And what an increase in salaries at the CA level will do for a firm. And I won't necessarily on this video break down exactly what people are dealing with in respect of how little money they may have to be playing with. But let's just say that any increase or any introduction of a minimum wage is going to have a negative effect. It's that simple. Now, for those of you who are listening to this and are screaming and shouting, going, Rob doesn't know what he's talking about. I've been a small business owner in many fields, tech, recruitment, management consulting and research for over 20 years. I'm sort of borderline left and right leaning. I'm a capitalist at heart. I work in a very capitalist environment, and I make that work for us. But my father was a trade unionist. So I grew up in a very socialist household. So I have a nice balance of the two. I think that salaries do need to increase, but for them to increase, there needs to be more money. Now, you can't just magic money out of thin air. Let's look at the numbers. There's close to 6,000 students leaving higher education facilities with law qualifications every year, but there's only 1,000 CA positions, circa 1,000, right? Companies are already under pressure. The cash flow is low. I know that because I deal with a lot of small to medium-sized law firms. There's increased pressure on them to reduce fees because their clients are looking for cheaper alternatives. They're also looking for online alternatives, automated alternatives. The legal market itself is incredibly splintered. There's close to 16,000 law firms in the country, of which 99% of them have under 9 people. or something around those numbers. Let's just say the bulk of the law firm sector in this country is made up of very small firms where cash flow is tight. So I'm talking to you business owners. I've got your back, as it were. I think it's a case of the minimum wage for CAs isn't as straightforward as just go, oh, we'll just magic some money out of somewhere, because it doesn't come from somewhere. So what's going to happen? Well, I can tell you now, these grey hairs will show that I've got experience in this space. We're going to see less CA positions. That 1,000 will go to 900, to 800, to 700, 600, 500 and beyond. To quote Investopedia, which is a fantastic website if you don't already use Investopedia, when you're talking about the impact of minimum wage, increasing the minimum wage does have the risk of increasing unemployment depending on the wage increase. The thought process is often that increasing the minimum wage would increase the cost for businesses, resulting in them hiring fewer workers or looking for automation of some way. That is true. That is true of every industry. So those of you who are championing we must get the law firms to pay people more, I get it. Cost of living is expensive. Some of the wages are very, very low and have been for a very long time and have not moved. But you can't just magic money out of thin air. This is an industry that is already splintered, where it's effectively a race to the bottom in terms of costs, where clients are looking for automation as opposed to going to their lawyer. We're seeing more and more law firms closing up for business, and I can tell you right now, there's at least two that I know of that are very prominent that will be out of business and liquidated by the end of this year. The pressures are getting unbelievable. Just to continue to raise salaries because it's the right thing to do is going to have a negative effect on an industry that is already under enormous pressure to reduce fees, that is being automated. And then we haven't even got into the advent of AI and automation and what that effect that's going to have on the CA numbers. I'm going to tell you now, this isn't as straightforward and clear cut as you may think it is. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be a minimum wage for CAs. I just think it goes deeper than that. And those who are commenting on it should really look at the other side, the law firm side, and the pressures that you are under when it comes to cash flow and things like that. Thanks very much. Thanks for listening. See you soon.